Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. And I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I got you guys covered. Now, I'm still in Brooklyn. I covered the fight myself. Shawn Porter, Andre Berto. Shawn Porter did defeat Andre Berto, as you guys can see on screen. Winner by TKO, 1 minute and 31 seconds of round 9. And I'll be back. I haven't done a Charlo or Berto Porter post-fight breakdown, real deal style, Boxing Ego style. But the press conference, Berto, I think he went to the hospital to get checked up, which is customary, and I think he needed stitches because of some of the head clashes and whatnot. So he didn't do a press conference. He just went to the hospital or whatever, and Shawn Porter was the only one. I don't even know where Charlo was because I was hoping that they did one with him. However, that's already up on the channel, so make sure you check it out. It wasn't too long, about 10 minutes. Shawn Porter said his thoughts. I asked him a question, things of that sort. So I want to read some quotes and then get into what you guys seen in the title of this video regarding Amir Khan. Shawn Porter says, "I got to clean up those headbutts. We tried to use the whole ring, but sometimes in the heat of battle, I'm a fighter and Mr. Berto is a fighter as well. Those headbutts were just the two of us going in fighting. My intention is never to use my head as a weapon. This was just a very hard-fought battle by both of us, and I'm blessed to get the victory." He spoke on Keith Thurman. "I was just up here wishing he said, yes, that's the fight I want next." I have a video on that where he said that. And Kenny Porter had this to say, "Shawn is a warrior. I am so proud of him. Berto is a warrior too, but we were blessed with the victory. We did what we had to do. Shawn was prepared physically, mentally, and emotionally. We weren't leaving here without that belt." Because this was an eliminator, so I guess maybe they had a belt. Shawn wanted to send a sign to everyone that he deserves that shot at the title, and he's ready. Berto had this to say, "I have to give him credit, but he's a rough fighter. He has great skill, but at the same time, he's going to be rough and try to handle me any way he can. I got a lot of headbutts, and he did too. Shawn is a tough competitor. We had a good competitive fight until the headbutts got to be a little too much for me, but I thought it was a really good fight before that." Keith Thurman, he said regarding Porter, his team was adamant about the rematch, and now he's fought his way to earn that. Talking about the eliminator. "We just need to sit down and talk about it. He's hungry. You see the way he fights. It could be a great fight again. Shawn was relentless in the fashion we know he can fight. He had Berto's number. He was in great shape. Team Porter always does a great job. Me and Berto are different fighters. There were a lot of headbutts, but I know to watch out for that. Berto is a little more flat-footed than me, and that played into Shawn's favor. They deserve all the credit in the world. He's fought a great fight." So now that you're caught up to speed, there's another welterweight name in the mix of things. That's Amir Khan. Right now, I'm on his verified Twitter account, and this is what he said. Before the fight, well, actually, we'll start with this. Before the fight, he wished his stablemate Berto, "Good luck to my bro Andre Berto tonight. Tough fight for both guys, but I got Berto winning on points. Who do you have?" And obviously Porter won, so that prediction wasn't the one, but I mean, that's a stablemate. Then this is what you guys seen in the title. Amir Khan says, "Forget Porter, get your gloves on, Keith Thurman. I want you end of this year, more money and bigger fight. Hashtag ponytail." Now, my thoughts, I mean, some people are going to say it's a suicide mission for Khan. I mean, he was knocked out in his last fight at a higher weight, so we don't really know how he's going to bounce back. He had, I believe, 2 surgeries. He had a hand surgery, and I heard he had something on his hip or whatnot. But he's coming off an injury with his hand. He got knocked out by Canelo in a brutal fashion. You got to give it to the man. The man has some stones. He has balls when it comes to this fight game. He really seems like he's willing to fight whoever. You could say it's for a paycheck or whatever, but I mean, he's calling out Keith Thurman. He said, "Forget Porter. You'll make more money fighting me. I'm the bigger fight. Hashtag ponytail." So he took a little Angel Garcia humor. I don't know. I would like to see it. You know what I mean? To me, it's a dangerous fight for Khan, because obviously some people are going to question his chin, and he got knocked out, and he's been on a long layoff. So he says end of this year. So obviously he's going to try to get in a fight between that. So I want to know what you guys think from that particular fight. And the thing I really like about this welterweight division, man, this welterweight division is like, it's getting crowded. Errol Spence is fighting Kell Brook. He was there tonight. I didn't get a chance to catch up with him one-on-one, but hopefully I can in the future. You have Khan, who's moving back down. And if you really think about it, Khan is just like Kell Brook in the sense of, at welterweight, he is undefeated at welterweight. The Danny Garcia loss was at 140, and the Canelo loss was at Canelo weight of 155. So just like Kell Brook, he has a loss, but it was at 160, right? Khan has not been beaten at welterweight, so you got to take that into consideration. Now, coming off a brutal knockout, we don't know. We don't know how people bounce back. People have done it. Pacquiao's done it. Khan's done it earlier in his career, the Bradis Prescott knockout. So it's going to be interesting, but it's getting real crowded in this welterweight division. And I agree, this would be a big money fight at welterweight if Amir Khan were to fight against Keith Thurman. And like I said, it's a dangerous fight. Khan got speed, and I don't know. It's an interesting style fight because stylistically, Khan has very fast hands. He's probably faster than Keith Thurman, even though Keith Thurman he has pretty good speed, definitely athletic. I want to see. To me, it would be interesting to see what Keith Thurman. He proved me wrong, and I thought Danny Garcia was going to beat him, right? Because a lot of it was how he was looking at. A lot of it was how he was looking in his fight, the fight he had with Shawn Porter. I thought he could have outboxed Shawn and made it less competitive in terms of more one-sided, more one-time favor. You know what I'm saying? I thought he could have made that fight an easier win because I think he is the better boxer out of Shawn Porter. But Shawn Porter, he drags you into the mud in these dog fights, and he's very good at that. But I thought the skill and the height advantage and the boxing ability and power that Keith Thurman has, I thought he would be able to, instead of making it as competitive as it was, where some people even booed and thought that Shawn Porter won, I thought that Keith Thurman could have cleaned up and not fought a style that directly benefits Shawn Porter's style, and he didn't. But then in the Danny Garcia fight, he fought smart in those last rounds. He made sure not to make any mistakes. So against a guy like Khan, I would be really curious to see what would he fight, because to me, Keith Thurman has that Tim Bradley type of personality where you don't really know how he's going to fight. He can fight different ways, and you don't know what he's going to do. For example, Bradley, when he fought Ruslan Provodnikov, I'm like, okay, this is a Russian known puncher. He was in there with a crafty guy like Mauricio Herrera previously, and he had Herrera's face looking horrible. Both of their faces look horrible, but Herrera is the crafty guy, and his face looked like trash. So, you know, Ruslan's a puncher, and for whatever reason, Bradley came out like Rambo. You know, I gotta draw first blood. You know what I mean? And I'm like, why is he fighting like that? And he almost got melted by Ruslan in those first two rounds. So he doesn't always fight. And then when he gets in there, Juan Manuel Marquez, Tim boxes the hell out of a good counterpuncher, uses athleticism and boxes a smart fight. And I thought he clearly beat Marquez. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman does that too. Fights like the Diego Chavez fight, he wasn't really boxing. He was like brawling with him. And then Diego Chavez was winning some of those brawl exchanges early. And then he started boxing, and then that's where he was able to produce the body shot and the knockdown and stuff like that, and then eventually stop Diego Chavez. Same thing with the fight, Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter. I thought he could have made that easier night and less of a war. I mean, these wars are fun for fans, but I'm talking about if I was in Keith Thurman's corner, like just purely for the sake of you want to capture your W in the best fashion, the most dominant fashion, things like that. So you never know with Keith Thurman. Like I said, the Danny Garcia fight, he came out very aggressive, and then he just tapered off and went to like a clear points victory. So against Amir Khan, I really don't know how Keith Thurman would fight. Would he be super aggressive because some people say Khan has a glass chin, or would he be respectful of Amir Khan, silver medalist, the hand speed. So it would be an interesting fight to me, to be honest. It would really be interesting because I don't know how he'll do. Because Keith Thurman, another fight for me was Leonard Bundu. Knocked Bundu down the first round, and he let him off the hook to me. And then Bundu started doing some trickery, and then even though he wasn't winning the rounds, he was doing enough to make Keith Thurman look bad enough, considering who he's supposed to be. Puts me in the same mind of Luis King Kong Ortiz versus Malik Scott. Malik Scott wasn't winning those rounds, but he was still playing spoiler because King Kong's supposed to be this feared puncher that a lot of people say can beat Anthony Joshua, beat Deontay Wilder. And the way Malik Scott fought him, it wasn't a convincing win where it's just like, wow, he's this monster. And I think Leonard Bundu was that fight for Keith Thurman. Like he didn't look his normal self because he allowed Bundu to just fight a style that was awkward, and it didn't really help him. But I really would be curious to see the Khan fight. I mean, I got to see how Khan, because Keith Thurman, he got some thump. Pause. So I want to see how Keith Thurman would fight Khan, and I want to see how Khan will even deal with a puncher again, because the first puncher since Danny Garcia, to me, that he fought, real big puncher. I mean, you could say maybe Luis Collazo, but I don't consider Collazo's just a crafty veteran. And I understand he had the body shot versus Keith Thurman, but it doesn't take that much force and pressure to hurt someone to the body. You know what I mean? A well-placed body shot, that'll have you hurting, and it doesn't even have to have the most power behind it. If it's accurate and it's well-timed when you're not expecting it, then that's enough for it. So to me, Khan hadn't really fought many punchers since Danny Garcia, and then he fought Canelo and he got knocked out in that fight too. So Keith Thurman, he definitely has a punch. So I would be anxious to see it, but I'm liking this with the welterweight division. There's a lot of great fights that can happen. Khan saying, don't worry about no Porter rematch. Obviously, if Khan won the fight versus Keith Thurman, he would be a two belt champion. So he'd be right back in the picture. So I want to see. I'm anxious to see what Khan, who he chooses for his next fight, his very next fight. And let me know if you guys want to see something like Amir Khan versus Keith Thurman at the end of the year. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.